take up the government spending, any sort of government waste. At least talk about it. In other words, don't just say, yeah, I guess we need 2 new planes. Okay. He's questioning it.
Yeah, maybe refreshing in tone, but I think it's important to point out that for a lot of folks in the private sector watching all of this unfold, especially seeing this tweet that seemed to sort of come out of nowhere, it's still unclear exactly why he sent that out. Perhaps it was because
Let me read it. Boeing is building a brand new 747 Air Force One for future presidents, but costs are out of control. More than $4 billion. Cancel order.
Cancel order. But possible that he put this out because he saw the head of Boeing saying something negative about his trade policies. Again, sort of unclear. But I think for folks watching this happen and seeing the president-elect conduct himself in this way, I think there's a little bit of a precedent that he is potentially setting up in which he singles out companies in public by name, specific companies, and sort of airing his grievances. And on the other side of that, we've seen that happen sort of the other way too, right? With Carrier, patting them on the back for saving these jobs and not sending them abroad, walking out with, some affiliated with SoftBank and saying at the lobby of Trump Tower and saying, look at what a great job
they're going to create 50,000 jobs, he says. I mean,
right. He says versus the reality is where we need to come in. David, look at the Carrier deal. Everybody's giving him a pat on the back. It's great to save families. Now you got the head of the union for Carrier coming out and saying, we're not saving all those jobs. It's not true. The numbers are less. And you have other companies now who are going to, could now ask for inducements. What is the difference between what you say is an insurgent that sounds good, as Allison says, reassuring on some, ignorant level, but then once you get in, can you make it happen?
Well, that is the question. We don't know the answer to that. So we have to we can't judge that before the results are in. And that's the thing. He is always going to propose things and disrupt things as he's doing. And we're all going to put the context of this is unprecedented. This is why we know people have not thought this way before. But we need to actually wait and see the results to see if the new way of trying something actually does work.
So what do you do when the Carrier deal comes to pass and it turns out they're sweating more jobs than they're keeping? The number of jobs we were told they're keeping isn't right.
But there's still hundreds. I mean,
you're saying instead of 1,100 jobs, it's 800 jobs, right?
True.
And they'll say that's a success, right? I mean, isn't that how they spin it?
They'll say, but the problem is when every economist says it's not a success, when it's a dangerous way to go with job growth, where do you see them? Do you see a learning curve where, okay, this Carrier deal, wow, now we got 6 other companies asking us for millions of dollars in gifts like we gave to Carrier. It's not enough jobs. What do? Do you see a growth curve potential?
Well, if companies stop buckling to the pressure that Trump is trying to put on them or engaging in some sort of negotiation, and it's not effective for him, you're going to judge that as a failure, and he's going to be able to reverse course.
Is it even a buckle? They get $7 million in inducements, Alex. They keep several hundred jobs. If you listen to the union rep, they feel the numbers are still soft, and they're still getting to send most of their jobs across. That's not how you save the manufacturing base.
Well, and for a lot of folks, really conservative economists, liberal economists, the concern is less that the companies will eventually stand up to Trump and more that Trump will actually not stand up to the companies more aggressively than he is here or set a broad policy that makes it tough for these companies to send jobs overseas. Because right now you could just have, any company with a manufacturing facility in the Midwest could float the idea of moving it to Mexico or Vietnam and shake down the federal government, the state government for tax breaks.
Sure. I mean, we'll see what the consequences of all of this messaging is. Guys,